Hey, Corey, I thought today we could talk about wrong dog.
I don't know what that means.
Wrong dog.
Wrong dog?
Uh-huh.
Okay. I don't know what it means.
Just talk about wrong dog.
What's wrong dog?
You know, I'm glad you asked. Can you do that to your husband tonight? Anyways, not the topic of today. Corey wanted to talk about starting a blog in terms of SEO, which is a buzzword a lot of people want to talk about. But before we get started,
welcome to the Baking It Down podcast. We are your twins hand in arms inside the vehicle at all times
until the podcast has come to a complete stop.
We are a spin-off from a group on Facebook. So the group on Facebook is Sugar Cookie Marketing Group. If you're pending, we're letting people in.
I did
it up, gotten people where they needed to go.
Every Monday, I'm letting in everyone who answered all the questions.
Yeah.
Unless you're joining as a
page
profile page.
Yeah.
No, like
it's too hard. You guys are running rampant. We can't track you. I don't know who his glory be.
Patty's Bakery LLC is just breaking all the rules.
Yeah.
So
customer bashing.
We don't allow pages to join, but some people create profiles as pages, and those we don't allow to join as well. We tried it. It does not work.
It just seems like when there is anonymity
in any capacity,
you can run crazy because no one can track you.
Yeah.
So if you're requesting to join, we are letting people in. So please join us
as yourself.
In that group, though, we can see the problems, tribulations, trials of many of the bakers and what they run into. A lot of times we address like customer relations. We have podcast on that. We have podcast on, how to run your bakery more efficient.
But last week we talked about CTAs, call to action, specifically digital marketing. And in that same genre.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about blogging in terms of a local cottage bakery, which adds a subtle nuance to what a blog is.
Blogs have been around for a long time. Blogging turned to vlogging, turned to these channels that you can see, like TikTok and things like that. But blogging has been around for a long time. And a lot of people are like, well, I'm not trying to be a lifestyle blogger. Blogging is so much bigger than that. That's where it probably took off, and a lot of us found blogs through someone's lifestyle blog.
Right. I think that today, like, people are like, what could I'm not lifestyle blogging for how my bakery day goes.
Yeah, so what can I talk about? Right. I showed up, turned the oven on.
Yeah, so when you think in terms of a website, specifically most of the websites that bakers are going to use, you're going to have the home page, the about page, products page.
Yeah.
You're going to have a contact page, and then maybe you're going to have like a classes page or something like an asterisk, like a one wildcard page. And then we typically see most websites, whether cottage bakery or plumbing or modeling, have these 5 basic pages.
And that is a good foundational website structure.
If I looked at a website and you had 5 basic pages, I said your foundation is laid correctly. Now, if each of those pages was outfitted to speak to the customer as well as support the topic.
Oh, you're a little bit more. The thing is, a lot of us think we set it and forget it. You set up the website once, it's done.
And then you're like, why do I get no leads from my website?
Yeah.
I set it up. I did everything I was supposed to do. What gives? How do I rank in Google for search terms like sugar cookie baker near me?
Because so many bakers didn't start off as marketers. They think of a website as where you send someone to check out for your Easter presale.
Which is fine as the immediate need.
But your website in terms of online marketing can be your number one sales getter.
Corey and I always call it the salesman who never sleeps. He works 24/7, 365, because as long as he is ranking in search engines like Google, you can be getting leads.
Which someone getting leads for you versus you having to post, beg people to buy, stay front and center. That's a lot. But if you could have another one of you getting the sales, just imagine the load taken off your shoulders.
So you can say, okay, well, I have the website, girls. I have a Square website. It does have a blog component. And that's one of the biggest things I would say is don't start a separate website blog. Yeah. Blogs specifically started out kind of in the sense of Blogger, which is a Google-owned property. And then you'd go to Blogger and then you'd create your blog. And that would just be literal entries towards this content of whatever you want to take. Our older sister used to do it a lot.
She did.
Now we have websites incorporating blogs, which is where the magic happens in terms of SEO. And SEO is a buzzword. Search engine optimization. What's a search engine? It's Google, it's Bing, it's Safari if you use that, you poor souls. But for the rest of us, it's anything that you can search on can be optimized for search engine optimization. Now, just like for social media, we are held to an algorithmic standard yet again. Social media grades you off of which content people like to watch.
Yeah.
Search engines grade you off of content people are searching, more likely to want to click on, right? So remember, Google's product is its search engine, and its customers, everyone who makes a search, right? So as everyone who opens up Google and types something, Google's like, I need the first thing they click on to be what they actually wanted, because then they're more likely to use Google. Okay, how do we get that concept in your website married?
Right.
So content, right? Because a website with 5 pages is a very basic website, but is it going to answer the user's query, which is what we call anything you type into a search engine, the question.
Yeah.
I'm looking for a sugar cookie baker near me. Well, I'm a sugar cookie baker near you. Why isn't it showing me? Because remember, there's only one first spot in Google.
Yeah.
And every baker near you is fighting for it.
Is fighting for it.
And a lot of times, big, like Crumble Cookies is going to rank really well. It's a giant company. It has a very, very deep pockets, and it's very focused on SEO.
Yes.
And Corey and I always say, like, SEO is, if something goes up, if somebody's ranking higher, something must go down. And it would be great if you could get into the first spot and never have to
stay
do
there and be like, we're done.
But somebody's always vying for that first spot, and somebody's website has always got more content. Somebody's website always answers the query better.
Yeah. The great thing, because you're like, wow, Heather, thanks. I have no chance to ever rank. The great thing about being a small local baker in your local town is most bakers aren't marketers. So there's a big chance
there's a lot of opportunity
that you can get in there to that top search and get more leads just for the fact that no one else is trying.
Right. So I want to lay the expectation. I always see that someone says, you said create a Google business listing, and I did, and I'm not getting any leads. My first question is, when did you make it? And they're like 3 days ago. Like, right, yeah, none of this is immediate. Remember that a search engine sends out little robots, and the robots crawl through websites and listings, and then the robots try to determine what is the best website listing, something to put here, right? So it's never immediate because the robots are not immediate. There's millions of websites.
They're when they're not crawling on you, they're crawling on somebody else.
They're trying to decipher. And again, we don't know how the algorithm works, and that's the worst part of SEO. It's reverse
changing too.
Reverse engineering what these algorithms may decide, and Google never tells you.
It never tells its little secrets.
Okay, so we say so why a blog? Why not just put the content on your website?
True.
Blogs are known to be constantly updated, right? That's how we're conditioned to think of them. So on a website, you could add 50 pages.
Here's at the end thing you have to think of. When a client does get on that website, we can't lose them in the sauce of so much content.
So let's say we never add more than our 5 pages, but we need to add more content because that's what the robots are reading.
Yeah.
Well, your homepage could be so long that it actually is inhibiting the end user from making the purchase. Because remember, we're always talking to 2 people, the robots.
I know.
And to the person who's got the money.
And they don't speak the same language.
So our homepage needs to be welcoming. It needs to be high converting. It needs to drive people with those call to actions.
Which you did cover a really good one, which was mine.
So Corey, we have Corey's homepage. Imagine that we keep adding content and the page is like forever long.
It gets longer and longer. The CTAs are now so spaced out because I put so much content in between them.
And that is a strategy. It's not the strategy that I think is becoming to a website that's high converting. Yeah. It may be a website that does well for robots, but I think our end user will be like, whoa, this is weird.
Yeah.
I don't, best date nights in DC is not for a homepage made.
Right.
So, okay, then you incorporate this blog, which a lot of your website builders already have it. Maybe a tab you toggle on. I know Shopify's, Corey has a blog incorporated. We're using Podia. It has a blog incorporated. Uh-huh. I know Square comes with it. Wix comes with it. I think most of them now because it's such a needed thing.
It is.
Because of the reasons we're going to talk about today. So the first one is website SEO, which we been talking about.
touched on,
SEO stands for
search engine optimization.
Okay, so you're like, well, how does the blog help the website rank? Well, the blog allows us to produce a lot more content than we can just put on the homepage. Just like Corey and I said, too long of a homepage, and it's kind of a weird experience.
But the blog allows you to do the little snippets, the little bite-sized pieces of the blog, and then they're taken to the blog, which is typically not found on just the homepage.
So a great example is the newsletter attached to this podcast. So if you go to sugarcookiemarketing.com, you'll see everything that we kind of offer in very succinct forms with just very little mentions of what each is. But I want to add the Wednesday newsletter content to the website. Am I going to add each one of those newsletters to my homepage? We send these out every Wednesday.
The Wednesday newsletter has been going on for years at this point. Imagine year's worth of Wednesday on the homepage, and you're just trying to find out how to contact Heather to get a free stupid car tray.
Right. So my content couldn't live on the homepage. So I'm going to put it on my blog, where it is very naturally sounding because the blogs are constantly updated, which we'll talk about that in a second. So when we have a website with SEO in mind, a blog is just right there. It almost is a necessity. Okay, so you say, I want, and if you go to sugarcookiemarketing.com and you go to the blog, you're going to see all those Wednesday newsletters, and I'm updating them constantly because blogs are meant to be updated, right? They are timestamped. I could toggle it on and off on this website, but you have a timestamp. And nothing says this
nothing
website.
Says like I've not been here in a while.
Corey and I have another website, the Sugar Cookie Classes website. It has a blog component to it. And she and I don't know, there's not enough money in the world to get us to write this blog. Anyway, so we focus on the websites we want to rank because that is the goal here, right? So website is great in terms of driving traffic, getting people to buy things, and that's what our number one. But we also want our website to be a lead generation source so that the website, the blog is going to bring in a lot of that SEO benefit. And if you're like, well, I don't really know what that is, don't worry about it. What I just said is do it. Do it. And, it's kind of those, if you build it, they will come. The robots will come.
Yeah.
The better your content, the better quality, the better results. That's how it always works in everything.
And don't worry, we're not going to just lead you with the better the quality, the better they come.
Goodbye.
We'll dive into these next few things to help you.
Corey said save the SEO breakdown to the end.
It's just because it's like, if you're going to check out, you're going to check out.
Yeah, I want it to be number one in our topic today because it is kind of the most important, but we're going to break it down because it is a little nuanced and kind of buzzwordy. Number two, Corey says, updating your blog post gives you social media content to share.
We're always looking for social media content. One thing that the bots and Google love is when someone clicks to a website, stays on there. It shows that you're have a valuable website, people like clicking to it. So if you're looking for social media content, you could write a whole blog post in cross post. That means take that link,
share it,
put it on social media, and you're two birds, one stone. One, you're getting more eyes on your website, which we love. Two, you have a whole content bucket now.
That's a great signal to the robots. Yeah. When someone clicks to a page, Google's like, there's something new here. There's a disturbance in the force. And it's like, well, people are clicking on this page. We should rank it.
And the easiest way, if you're like, well, I just made my website, no one's clicking to it right now. A great way to jumpstart it, is to share on social media where you've been growing that audience, and that audience is like, oh wow, they have a website.
We've already the slave to one algorithm. We can use that one algorithm to suffice the other one.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Now, my biggest asterisk here. Does Facebook want you to take traffic from Facebook? So when you share your blog post, it's not going to get as many reactions at all. You're using an external link going to your website. Facebook says, we don't want our users to leave. We like them seeing our ads. And you're taking them from us. Okay, then, well, maybe I shouldn't post it. No, it's just not going to perform as well. And as long as you make peace with that, but it's still going to get 200, impressions.
Yes.
Maybe we'll get 2 clicks, but that's 2 more clicks than you had before. And it's also a diversification of content.
Yes.
Sometimes I think we get in the rut of, I baked this. This is fun to bake. This was baked by me.
I think in the rigmarole of bakers, we want to post the coolest, most complex set because that gives us the most reactions. In those reactions, we do get a little ego dopamine hit, which is great.
But the big thing is reaching, and that's getting more reach.
Yeah, and I get it. But here's the thing. We have to work like a well-oiled machine, and it's a circular thing. It's not just post
many
viral
components
content
working together to support the overwhelming goal here of making sales online.
So when you post that blog post link on your social media, it won't get as many clicks. I can promise you that.
But Google is actually watching where that referral traffic came from. When I open my Google Analytics, it says, hey, this blog post you posted was clicked through from Facebook.
Right.
Which can be they call them social signals in terms of ranking. Because if something does well on social media, Google may say, well, this might be worth it for us to give it a little boost in our own search engines.
We love that. So it's being well oiled, not being just, if I have to post viral content, because you, one, will burn out. Two, you'll be making such viral content, you'll no longer be a baker.
The beauty of sharing a blog post to social media is when you do get the click and the person does leave social media to your website, they're surrounded by your call to actions now on all sides. CTS. We've got order button at the top. We got the call to action midway through. We got the footer that says order here. Yeah. So in a land of Facebook where we can't always put our order button, we know when they get to our website because they want to read that content, then they're like, well, you're pretty close. You're pretty close to making an order here.
Oh, I know. And if they're not ready, they have that sign up for my newsletter right there.
There's a lot of conversion we can do on websites. And websites that are stagnant, websites that are never updated, it's kind of hard to constantly drive traffic there because the user's like, what changed?
And I will say, when we were looking for a new cat for Heather, there was many a dead website that I have clicked to. And I was
like the biggest takeaway here is the only reason these cats are even getting purchased is because there's limited supply.
Yeah.
But if there was a high supply, demand would force these people to actually update these websites.
And that's the great thing about cookiers is
there's a lot of competition.
Yeah, we're not having to bake something for 9 months or whatever the gestation period of a cat is. We can put it in the oven, bake it. So there's a lot more.
I don't think
a month.
How long does it take a cat to have a baby?
No way.
How long does it take a cat to have kittens? 2 months.
2 months?
Yeah, 46 cats.
They're living my dream.
You went 46.
I'm better than 9
46
months.
arches. So yeah, the social media content. And like Corey said, it gives us a reason to update the website because our homepage, maybe once a quarter. We got 4 quarters. Change it to an Easter class, change this button to a Christmas
typically
class.
What I see most bakers do is just change a photo, which photo, if you think about a website, has even less.
But imagine I'm like, hey, Corey, come back to my website. I've changed my photo. Nothing else has changed. You gain no knowledge. But come back, please. Don't be a stranger.
It's not enough to be like to wake someone to waste their time to click over. Like, what am I expecting?
But now when we have these interesting blog posts, which I think you'll find yourself. If you guys click on every week, I uninstall all entertaining apps.
Weird.
So I find myself in a desperate drive for some sort of morsel of dopamine from the internet. I read articles. Because, I don't know, Android phones, and I almost hated that they had this. When you have an Android phone and you swipe right, it brings up the list of Google topics you've selected to be interested in. So I can read about it. Frontier Airlines offers free checked bags. I was reading about Southwest Airlines removing free checked bags. So now I'm reading these articles. Yeah. These are blog posts. All of these are blog posts. And I'm reading them because it's something about that content piques my interest.
Yeah.
Now let's say a news source never added any articles. Would you go to their website?
You wouldn't.
Same thing applies to the baker's website. But you're like, but I'm not a news source. But we still want the traffic. And that's where blogs fill in this gap. Okay. And I know what people are thinking. To write about what then? Free checked bags at Southwest?
Right.
I'll read it. But no, we want to stay on topic. So we don't want our blog to just cover hot button topics.
Yeah, we don't want to say Justin Bieber and Selena Gomez should have ended together.
We're not a breaking news source. We're a breaking cookie source, right? So we got to stay on topic because we want the coherency of our website to always signal local baker sugar cookies. Yes. That's always the goal here. So all that content needs to kind of support that in some way, shape, or form. If it doesn't support baking, it needs to support local.
Yes.
So we got 2 options there. And I think a lot of people sleep on the local side. I think some of you guys are going to know what I say when I'm talking about baking topics, but you're sleeping on the local side.
Yeah. So you have to think. A lot of times what bakers will do is post topics about baking. I want to tell you, who is the only person interested in baking? Bakers. Unless you are selling to bakers, which most of us local bakers are not. We want to stay away from how to cure icing bleed because that's not going to be what Mrs. Hilburn down the road wants to see during her
picked
Easter.
like an actual name because I think that's Archer's
I was
teacher
thinking
or something.
Hill and Burn. I don't know a Hill Burn.
No, you don't?
No.
Who's Archer's art teacher that you keep talking about? I thought it was
Purdy.
Okay, I was so far away from Hillburn. I feel like a Hillburn would paint something. Okay, reference topics. What I find here to still incorporate baking is consider if you taught a cookie class, what are the questions asked?
What do I need to bring to a cookie class?
Yeah, and so you're like, okay, an apron. We're going to get wordsmithy. You may be tempted right now to fire up ChatGPT and get it to write it. Don't do that. Actually, I'm going to challenge you not to use AI at all when writing these blog posts because you need to train yourself on how to think like someone who'd write a blog post. They're calling it the death of the internet. When AI writes blog posts that AI reads to write blog posts that AI will read to write blog posts. So it's great to actually flex your brain and really write out this content in a way that...
And I want to say, AI, amazing. The way AI writes, I can spot it a million miles away.
Word salad. And it's one thing. And I saw somebody wrote this the other day on a topic I was asking in the main group. They said, I use AI to get me started. Yeah. And then I'll go back in and edit it. And that using AI as a framework, awesome. Using AI to write your entire blog, lazy, sloppy, and you're not going to get what you want.
The word delectable will be in there 52 times.
As the sun cascades across the countertops as my KitchenAid glistens in the distance. What we want to do is, still stay concise, kind of what the call to actions talked about last week. But we want to answer the topics asked in a cookie class because imagine this. Imagine I teach this class and someone asks all these questions and I send out that final email where I give them all my resources. Yeah. My other resource is like, hey guys, for you guys who purchased a DIY kit, here's an article on my website where I talk about remixing that icing, which is something I mentioned in class today. And I link to that. Then I'm going to say, hey, a couple of you guys mentioned you wanted to freeze your cookies for a party we're having later. Please click on this article to read about my best practice tips when it comes to freezing cookies.
One, you're making your email concise. Mm-hmm. It's not a word. It's not this long. No one has that much time.
We're not going to put this much about freezing cookies in an email to cookie class
But
attendees.
what we want is in our class attendees, we want them to say, sign up for the next Easter class here because we want them to go there. If you bought a DIY kit, let's just say half of them bought a DIY kit. So that link is only pertinent to half the thing.
So instead of all our DIY kit instructions to only half the people who need to read it, we're keeping our email short because we know short and sweet gets more clicks and reads, but we're still allowing those people to have an article, which is on our blog, on our website.
Right. I mean, here's what I was even thinking, like in the college, we have the cookie class playlist, and it's basically the PowerPoint you get in the cookie class kits. And Julie in the college actually takes the steps and makes them into a little PDF. Mm-hmm. You could even have that on your website and have your audience click to your website to do their DIY kit for Easter.
Because remember, Google sees all and knows all. When it's a website, Google is watching where they came from. It'll even know that they came from that email. It's looking at where they went to. It's logging how long they were on that website, and it's looking at where they clicked to next.
I know.
So if somebody came to your website and immediately leaves, that's going to increase your bounce rate. It's going to decrease your website stay time. There's a fancier word for it than that. So these articles written for cookie class attendees are going to be real resourceful, and they're going to read the whole thing because it's the content that they needed at that time.
Yeah. One thing I want to say, sometimes we ask a blog post to do a lot. Like, can you do my dishes?
Can you file my taxes? And you can also tell us how to de-thaw frozen Eddie cookies printed 6 months ago.
That's why you can make, and it's so important, you can make multiple blog posts that cover different topics.
You should.
And you can link to those. Sometimes we are like, I don't have enough. What can I write about? Okay, I'll write about everything in a DIY kit. Plus, sign up for my cookie classes.
Plus, buy this. Plus, do this. Plus, do cartwheels. Here's how I learned how to do the splits.
I know. Here's my sister's name and her favorite color. Right. At the end of the day, because the blog is in a blog section, you can have so many different blogs.
You should.
That cover a totally different gamut.
There is no cap. There is no that's one too many blog posts. Now, we'll talk about thin content in a minute. There's quality blog posts and there's not quality. If you have a bunch of quality blog posts, I ain't going to tell you to stop.
I'm going to fight you.
I'm going to say, you're going to rank above everybody else.
How dare you?
You're doing great. So Corey said, well, we don't write to bakers, but you guys just gave us a bunch of baking topics because we're writing to our class attendees. To write for me, who doesn't bake,
Yeah.
to write an article that is interesting enough about baking for Corey to click on is going to be hard because I'm punching above my weight class.
Right.
But I do teach sugar cookie classes,
You
and
do.
I can write in a way that somebody who took my class for the first time they've ever seen a sugar cookie yesterday, I can say, hey, listen, what you're having an issue with is you're not using that scribe. Here's my scribe best practices, and also a link to Amazon where I purchase these scribes. You know what that link can have? It can be an affiliate link.
can.
You just have to tell them that.
Yeah.
But there's many resources. There's a lot of money left on the table without having a blog.
For sure. And then you might be listening to this and you're like, girls, I don't even teach classes. I'm just a babby backer. I'm just starting out. You can, and this is what Heather loves, local content.
And that's my point. Number 4, local topics. So you can say a baking website could have a lot of baking content in its blog. Mm-hmm. And I'd be like, that's real healthy. But we're not just a baker, we're a local baker. So what we want to do is geographical relevance. That's a buzzword for saying local.
Yeah.
Right. So Google's going to be like, well, I know this website's about baking. That's what I'm sure. They have some great blog posts on de-thawing cookies. So I'm going to let them rank for when somebody says de-thawing cookies in Google. Mm-hmm. But we were like, we also want to rank, when Corey lives in Woodbridge, we want to rank for Woodbridge baker. Well, how do we incorporate Woodbridge in baking? Well, Corey, here's a great idea how to do this. And I really like it when I see websites do this. Best date ideas in Woodbridge, right? In Woodbridge. So what Corey's going to do is list 5 great date ideas. One's going to be going to Occoquan Regional Park. The other one's going to go to the Stonebridge Town Center. But number 3 is going to be signing up for her local cookie classes. Well, now we've got relevance. We've got Corey the baker, cookie classes, and local content.
Yes.
We have mentioned Woodbridge in terms of Stonebridge. We've mentioned Woodbridge in terms of Occoquan. We've mentioned Woodbridge in terms of going to Leesylvania State Park or taking the train ride or something like that. But we've also connected Woodbridge and sugar cookies.
Yeah, and then you're like, okay, I see your guys' creative juices are flowing. Thanks to Get Woodbridge Area Teachers for Teacher Appreciation Day.
And that's a very long-term keyword, but guess what Corey's second on the list is going to be?
Yeah.
Custom sugar cookies from You Never Guessed It, Corey herself.
You're right. So when people don't have blogs, sometimes you'll go to a website and they'll keyword stuff. So you're like, well, I don't really want to write a blog, Heather. That's too much time, too much effort. And you'll see Corey, who bakes in Woodbridge, who loves baking in Woodbridge because she lives in Woodbridge, who bakes in Woodbridge.
Here's 5 things she does in Woodbridge, and you should do these 5 things too.
And it's not natural. It's not converting. It's called keyword stuffing because you're like trying to bypass little bots.
You're saying, I don't want quality content. I'm just going to tell the robots I'm a baker in Woodbridge and they should rank me. And Google's like, listen, we're not going to send our person, our client to you to be lambasted with the word Woodbridge.
Because you have to think, just like Facebook wants to keep its users on its platform so it can serve it ads, Google wants its end users to
always find what they're looking for. In terms of, let's say, Ross, which is a discount store, like a TJ Maxx, if you don't have one. You go in there, and Ross wants to, whatever it thinks you want, it wants to have it on the shelf, right? Because it knows if you go in there and you find it, you're going to come back to Ross next time you need something. Google is the same way. Unfortunately, Google is pushing people away from its website constantly. So it needs to make sure that first click, 70% of clicks on Google go to the first listing.
Yeah.
So it wants to make sure that first click is the one so answering of the end user's question that the end user will be like, well, I'll just Google it next time.
Yeah, right, to stay on Googs.
Right. So we're going to have really high quality lists because look, now back to the social media content. Let's say you say, okay, well, I came up with really 5 great date ideas. Actually, they're so great, I've done them myself.
Yeah.
Corey and I oddly go on twin dates a lot. I could write a great blog post about 5 restaurants in Occoquan I would or wouldn't go to.
Right.
And I could post that to my social media. And guess who's going to want to read that? Yes, my baking client who lives in Woodbridge and is only used to ordering cookies from me. They may be like, oh, I'm looking for some date ideas.
Well, see, now you've become a resource and not just buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff.
So while we're also working on ranking on Google, we're producing really solid content for our Facebook. And Corey's 5th point is for our newsletter. A lot of people say, well, I don't know what to put in my newsletter. It's going to be buy from me, buy from me, buy from me. It's going to be like, hey guys, I just added a new blog post. Here's 5 date night ideas. Here are 5 date ideas I would do in Woodbridge.
You might look at Heather and be like, why are you putting the Wednesday newsletter on your website when you're sending it out each week? Here's the thing. When she sends it out, there's no ranking potential there. It is going to your inbox.
It dies within that week.
And that's it. So that content is not evergreen. Content on your website is evergreen. It's on there for life. It's on there and for growing, for clicks. So because
the newsletter I sent out 2 years ago, could answer someone's question today. And you know where they're going to find themselves on my website. You know what's on my website? A link to sign up for the cookie class, a link to sign up for the cookie college, a link to join the Facebook group. And you can kind of see how this all works together, like Corey said at the beginning, as this well-oiled marketing machine.
It's honestly, it's two birds, one stone. Here's how I would honestly do my newsletter. Hey, 4 different places you got to check out in Occoquan. And then in my thing, I'm going to put 3 in my newsletter. To read number 4, head to my website. And what you're doing, you see that circle where it's well-oiled and one is watering, the other is watering, the other is watering. That is how you have a well-oiled marketing machine. It's never just one thing to focus on. It's never that.
It's a diversification of lead sources. So, okay, well, Facebook's where I get most of my leads. What happens if your page is gone?
I know. And when someone's like, I don't get anything from Instagram, you're telling me that you've not watered there. So because you've not watered there, it is not valuable to you, but there is value there to be had. And someone else is taking your value because they're there.
If there's a spot to fill, somebody will fill it.
Someone is filling it.
So why not consider your website in the spot in terms of SEO? And SEO can get so in-depth and it could be overwhelming. But all you need to take away today is a high-quality piece of blog content. And if you want to think in terms of SEO, here's some topics to consider. So the length of content. This is where I meant thin content. There's such a thing as too short of a blog post. If you're writing 250 words, girl.
250 words, if you have to think about it, it's like if a tweet is 150 characters, you got 2 tweetles.
Well, that's characters. We're talking about words.
Words.
Considerably longer, but still not enough.
Still not enough. Whatever I was saying, I was right on track. Just a few tweets.
A few more characters. But, okay, so I tell Corey, she'll send me a blog post she wants me to add to her website or ask her to write something. I said, if it's less than 500 words, don't even send it to me. Just delete it yourself. It's so because Corey, I'll be like, because you can open a Google sheet and then make it count the words. And I'm like, what is this trash?
I want to tell you, when I'm in Microsoft Word, the thing that's open at all times is word count.
Because I want thick content. Thin content is like, hey guys, you can freeze your cookies tomorrow. No. Here's how we're going to bring them in. The Laffy Taffy scenario of marketing is what I always like to think, like, hey guys, here's why you'd freeze cookies. Yeah. So if you have your cookies frozen, here's what you're going to expect if you had them in an airtight container, if they're wrapped in cellophane, if you had them for 3 months, if you had them for 6 months, here's your best practices. Yeah. That's going to allow you to write enough content that's going to be thick enough that the robots will be like, this is pretty good. I'm gonna let it rank. I'm gonna let it, and not only rank the individual post, but the whole website rises. Yeah.
A great way to think about writing content is for someone who's never experienced it before. We are bakers, so we've been around freezing cookies all the time.
The other day, I told Corey, I want some beginner content. And she was like, well, I don't really know what. And I said, no. I want you to talk to somebody who's just finding out about sugar cookies.
Yeah.
Because Corey's like, well, I don't know. I feel like a lot of bakers know that. If you just use the word bakers, that's not who I'm talking to. Yeah.
You're a beginner baker. Let me help you. I'm going to say sugar cookies. We're going to talk about dough, what to look for in your dough, how it's overcooked. So you have to think, if someone's never heard the word freezing cookies before.
Which most end users haven't. That's why we're so anti
but because we've been bakers for so long and we freeze cookies all the time, we lose the essence of explaining it to someone. Imagine your customer being like, I don't think I like that you freeze my cookies. They seem old. How would you, in turn, talk them off the ledge?
That's your blog post. And Corey's got a great example. Talking to that customer who knows nothing is how you're going to write these blog posts, because that's your end user. You may be saying, but I'm teaching my end user. Listen, how to unfreeze cookies isn't teaching your end user to be your competitor. Yeah. It's teaching that person who you're about to tell them how to freeze their cookies because there was a storm and they couldn't pick them up.
What's so funny is sometimes I'm like, I can't think like a beginner. But
I'm doing good.
Yeah, I'm doing that. I've just been in it for so long. But I actually went to a hair spa. I talked about this last week. And I was so thirsty. My hair was thirsty and I was thirsty for information on how this appointment was supposed to go that I'm literally going through a website, like, guide me through what a hair spa appointment is.
Well, think about, you go to a doctor's office and they're like, I'm going to give you tretinoin, right? And you're like, for what? Right. And it's the doctor's job to be like, tretinoin's for a skin condition. It'll help with anti-aging. Here's how it works and cellular rejuvenation. That doctor's taking something technical and breaking it down for us.
Yeah.
You as a baker are taking something technical. You may not think it's technical. It's technical to the average person. And you're breaking it down for us. Pretend you're talking to me.
Yeah.
Pretend you're talking to this twin.
Pretend Heather's staring at you and saying, what do I do next?
Sometimes I'll be like, to Corey, like, I don't get what meringue powder is. I don't understand it. Well, Corey could write a whole blog post because you know what we say at cookie class? Hey guys, one of your most expensive ingredients will be meringue powder. We don't have enough time to explain it. Hey, after class, I'll send you out a resource list and you guys can learn about meringue powder, what it is, and actually the products I recommend. And if you use code TWINS, you can get 10% off at checkout. So you see how we're even getting passive income from this.
Right. Blog posts, we're all sleeping on them. I can tell you, it's like pulling teeth. And I know the benefits of it.
Literally, while we were storyboarding this one, Corey's like, I got to write a blog post.
It's pulling teeth for me to sit down and write them, but it's so valuable. And here's the thing. You're thinking the same way as I do. I'm not getting leads from my website, so why add a blog post? The reason you're not getting leads from your website is because you haven't written a blog post. When you start getting those leads and people are like, yeah, I found you on Google, you'll be like, wow. Why wasn't I writing these blog posts years ago? You have the information in your brain. Your brain's got it.
You're actually posting to social media already. So why not post it to, like Corey and I mentioned Facebook. You can post it to Instagram, which I post the Wednesday newsletter. Instagram to Facebook, to the page, to the group. You can post it to your newsletter, which we send out in the
Wednesday newsletter. Post it to your Google business profile under
Google
updates.
Business profile. You could even turn it into a TikTok. Hey guys, new blog post up. Here's 3 things you're going to want to hear. And I think you're going to like, no, really. That kind of thing that gets you in there. So you can repurpose this content.
That content you can pull it out so much. It doesn't just have to be one blog post and be like, oh crap. Now what? No, I hope someone sees it eventually. No, it can be repurposed into so many different things, and it waters one, waters the other. You got a reel from it. You got a TikTok from it.
Another, I think Corey, I think you might have written a blog post, but I'm going to make you do it. Corey's going to go to the Dale City Farmers Market, and she's going to take her camera, and she's going to take pictures of the parking lot. She's going to take pictures of the venue. She's going to take pictures of the cost. She's going to take pictures of the signage, of the hours. And then on her website, Mixing Bowl, she's going to say everything you need to know about the Dale City Farmers Market. And then she's going to say, hey, I'm a local cookie baker, and I'm always looking for great treats. As somebody who bakes, I also like to eat. And here are the things you need to know about the Dale City Farmers Market. Make sure you stop by booth number, company name, because I really liked the breads that they sold. Corey's going to go to her social media. She's going to post this. And she's going to tag at Bread Company. Yeah. And she's going to tag at Dale City Farmers Market in this blog post she's written, but in the caption, she's going to do that. And it's going to tell these 2 people who love the Dale City Farmers Market and the Bread Company, because it's them. Yeah. They're going to read it. And guess what? They're likely going to do? They're going to share that as well.
They're just going to share it. So if Heather, one time we did a collab, and it was called a Main Street marketing collab, and you literally went and chose a very well-known business in your little town and you featured them in this collab. That is a fantastic way if you wanted to get more corporate orders, to focus on that. There is a business owner and a person with a beating heart behind that other page. So you're like, well, no, my post didn't get that many likes, but the person that you wrote about saw it.
And it doesn't work every time. But Corey and I, when we work for our clients, we're like, we're a social media marketing team trying to talk to another social media marketing team because they've hired somebody to run their social media, either internally or externally. And they're going to be like, we want content. Like if someone wrote a blog post about sugar cookie marketing, you best believe, and here I'll tell you this: if you write on your website a blog post about the Sugar Cookie Marketing Group, and you let me know in an email or tag us, I will share that to my audience, of thousands and thousands of people, because it's so hard to get that content. And if more people realize how thirsty the person who's like, I don't know anything to post. Oh, I just got featured in a blog post from a local baker as the best date idea restaurant to go to.
I know the odds that they would share it to now their audience, who isn't your audience, that you might chance. At the end of the day, though, there's some helter-skelter older people behind those pages, and sometimes they don't get the sharing part. You can't be like, well, they didn't share it, so I'm giving up on the whole thing.
There's Occoquan. We keep talking about it. It's this quaint little old town on a river, so a lot of people like to go there. Corey likes this restaurant called...
Which one?
The one that's, you just went to it.
Bistro Limited.
Yeah, Bistro. I call it the French Cracker Barrel because the walls have a bunch of French crackers, but it's not cheap. It's expensive. You really like the food. Yeah. The service is really great. So Corey made this whole video about it. They knew we were making the video because we asked them if we could, and it was just one of those TikTok reel type things. Yeah. And Corey's like, it's a shame because whoever's running their Facebook page is the owner, who has got to be over 70.
Right.
And doesn't understand what the sharing is. But Corey's like, still the content's so good because everybody likes this very eccentric restaurant.
Yeah, and a lot of people want to try it. They don't know, like, do you need a reservation? So at the end of the day, there's still value that I can get by writing about Bistro Le Hermitage.
You did a great tip there. Instead of Corey, like everyone knows about this restaurant. What am I going to say? Corey's going to talk about parking. She's going to talk about you got to have a reservation. She's going to talk about where the bathrooms are. These are things that people would want to know, especially people with anxiety, parking anxiety, before they get there. Right. And that's going to be, it's going to be weird content, but it's going to be local quality content. Now, here's what I wouldn't put on my website. I'm a local Woodbridge baker who went on a cruise to Cabo or wherever that is. Well, I haven't been, obviously. I would not say, and here's 5 things you need to do in Cabo, because I don't care about ranking in Cabo. I care about ranking in Occoquan, which is a service area for Corey. Yeah. Right? So I'm going to focus on local only or baking only. Okay. We got that, right? So we're really focused on these 2 things. It's got to be about baking. It's got to be about location. Yeah. Length of words. I always want something to be 500 words. There, you could get really wordy.
Heather loves 1,000 words.
I think 1,000 words is going to answer the who, what, where, when, and why of the topic.
Yes.
1,000 words is hard to do.
It's hard.
750, real strong. Yeah. Real strong. 500, you're phoning it in. 250, don't even come to me with that. Frequency. So some people like, how often should I update my blog posts? The more, the better.
At the end of the day, something is better than nothing.
So if you want us to set a goal for you, do 2 times a month.
Yeah.
Give me one.
Oh, battery died.
I'll just keep it going. Okay. Sorry, guys. You get the one twin. So I would say 2 times a month and make 1 baking in 1 location.
Yeah.
Right. That's not too hard. Yeah, 24. If you miss one, 23 I'd take, 20 I'd take. Hey, anything over 0 I'd take.
Yes.
In terms of if I was your SEO. Okay, within the blog post, there is a bit of strategy and nuance here. We want imagery, right? Because when you go to post to Facebook, what populates? It needs to be an image. If she's covering the restaurant, I want it to be a picture of the restaurant.
Yeah.
I don't want everything you need to know about a reservation at La Bistro Hermitage, French, what do I call it?
Cracker
Barrel. And I want to have a picture of a random set of Easter cookies. That doesn't make a ton of sense. Now, if Corey did that Main Street collab and cookified
their logo,
absolutely.
Oh, that would be my prime.
Yeah, if not, then a picture of the restaurant. Again, we can't take photos on ours. So you'd have to go there and take that. Again, we're investing here, right? And like I said, if you're there, take a photo of the parking lot. Take a photo of the front door.
Ask me twice. I want to go. All right.
Corey went the other day. She really likes it. I'll go. You bring me. So once you write that, the blog post, you're going to invest in header tags. An H1 tag. You can see them on Facebook. You can add them now. Yeah. H1 tag is that big text at the top. You can only have 1 H1 tag per blog post. That's best practice. Everything else would be an H2. So think in terms of an outline. Date night ideas in Woodbridge. That's going to be H1. H2 is going to be all my date night ideas, which would be about 5. If I have an H3, it's going to be why this specific date night idea is a good one.
Yeah.
And you're going to have links. So within a blog post, you can reference other blog posts or other content. You can say
they call it a website structure. You have to think like if you have 5 pages, you have a very good line. A good line.
So our homepage would likely lead to the about page, the contact page, and the products page.
Yeah, so we got a good little line going.
Our blog, though, is a lot more sticky. We can say, and you know what? That's something I covered in a blog over here. Click here to read that.
I like to think of it as the Eiffel Tower. You see the Eiffel Tower has a bunch of lines in it, but they're all connecting to each other to create a really solid structure.
And at the top is you ranking first in Google for sugar cookies, right?
But you see everything underneath it supports that little top pinnacle of the Eiffel Tower.
And the more lines, the stronger the website.
Yeah.
So that is, I feel weird now that I'm the only person on camera. It is going to be posted with just me.
That's fine. And you know what?
I thought I charged it last night. I charged him last night. I guess I had to teach that Facebook Live, get to know you.
It's probably good that they're not seeing me. I had a zit that I played with as one does.
Don't touch your pimples. Okay, that takes us through that. So, if you're looking for a challenge of the week, I would say write a blog post.
Yeah.
Or at least turn on your blog post feature. Again, you got to write them. It takes a while to rank them. You can submit them. And this is a little bit more technical. You can submit them to Google and say, hey, Google, these are ready to be ranked.
Looked at.
And Google will be like, oh, thanks. We didn't even know you wrote that. I appreciate it. I'll add it to my list of things to do. And then you can keep just creating that content. Now, things can naturally rank on their own, especially if you're driving traffic to it through social signals.
And I do want to add, we're in not the slowest time for cook years. We just came from our Super Bowl, which is the Christmas time. Whatever you do now, whatever you do now.
I was telling Corey, my hot take is that the people who spent all November, December posting about politics haven't seen the repercussion of that yet.
They have not.
Because I'm a huge proponent of separating your personal politics, your personal beliefs from your business.
Yes.
I don't want to know who my mechanic votes for.
I know.
I just want the oil change.
Yeah, but if you can take that into perspective, what you do now during slower times, making
We'll
this blog
set the
post,
stage
during the high times when people are searching on Google.
That's a great point. What have I said? From the point that you post it to the point that it starts ranking in any capacity. Because remember, ranking could be on page 1, but it also could be page 30.
Could be, yeah.
In ranking, what have I said? That was a 2-month waiting time.
Oh, then I think people would be like, I got to do it now.
Got to do it now because I need to set the stage for
Yes.
busy season.
Yes.
And you may be like, well, I got enough leads. Anyways, I don't need it. Okay, I'm talking to your competition then. Yeah. And I don't need you to go write it.
You have to think, I have so many leads. I'm the top of my game. I'm going to sleep on my newsletter. I'm going to sleep on my website. I have too many leads. I can't handle. You're leaving the door open for that next baker to come in and take your spot.
My challenge to the baker with that attitude is raise your prices. It'll lower your leads. You'll make more money. Get more lead sources. Build up that new spare time. You have to build up these lead sources. You'll have more leads at a higher rate.
Yeah.
And that is how you scale your business.
What's so funny was on my dinner with the 2 bakers I had last week, they're like, how do you just...
You'll never guess where she went.
Bistro Lavender. They were like, how do you have any time during the day? But I can honestly say, well, I've been not writing blog posts.
Right.
At the end of the day, you're going to pull from something and you're going to take away from something else.
So where do you want to water? And I think it's a different, and I said, okay, I challenge you to 2 a month, but if you did 1 a month, I'd still take it.
1 a month is still fantastic.
You could write while you're watching TV, something you're not interested in listening to. You could write a blog post that is 500 to 750.
Yeah, and I want to tell you, while I'm watching TV, at all times, I'm surfing Etsy. So it can be done.
I'm going to pull up, I think Corey sent me a blog post for her website about
for my
cookie
website.
classes.
I did, and it was extensive.
It was extensive. So I'm going to actually read to you. Her H1 tag, meaning the title of her post, is Sugar Cookie Classes in Lake Ridge, Virginia. Risky click, but she really wanted to associate the website with Lake Ridge. So she's not going to word stuff that. She's got it in the H1 tag. Mm-hmm. I'm going to read her H2 tag. I know because I said it as an H2, which supports the primary header tag. And this is SEO, and it's something you got to know. And, it can be overwhelming. Don't let it be overwhelming. H1, first one, is what you should know before taking a cookie class. Then she has a bunch of supporting text. Things to bring for cookie classes are H3. It supports her what you should expect. Her next H2 is when are cookie decorating classes. And now she's referenced her own cookie decorating classes.
Yeah.
We have them on Saturdays at 11. We do them throughout the year. Where are the where are the cookie baking classes? Now you can see, and I kind of helped her with this. We did cookie decorating, we did cookie class, and now we have cookie baking. You see that? We're not doing exactly the same keyword over and over again, but we're making sure we encompass it in every way.
Yeah.
This is getting pretty close to keyword stuffing, but it's not because we've used diversified versions of the phrase that people might search for. And then who can take a cookie class? So she keeps going. What happens in a sugar cookie decorating class? So that's how long this is. And I think you got it to 1,000 words.
It was over 1,000 words.
So she's covering this. Now, when somebody says, hey, Corey, I know I ordered custom cookies from you. Do you guys teach sugar cookie classes? She's like, click here is everything you need to know. But also, she's telling Google, hey, I teach sugar cookie decorating, baking cookie classes.
But even as the one person who says, Corey, do you teach classes? And I send them this well fine-tuned, everything you could possibly want to know about the cookie classes that I teach. One, I'm going to get someone who would most likely sign up for a class versus here's my Eventbrite page, figure it out. Hopefully I'll see you on those shows. Right.
Assuming that our Eventbrite page has a ton of content as well, because at the end of the day, people make decisions off of how much information they have.
Me in the head spa, I'm like, please let me know.
Our little sister got her first ever massage. She had gone out with her friends to this resort, and someone was like, there was just never enough information at any given time for a half naked person. She was like, do you take the undies off? Do you cover yourself? And I'm like, when you go to a massage in any capacity, there's never enough instruction.
No, and I need you to be like, take your pants off, leave your underwear on, put the robe on.
But I'm sure the masseuse is like, girl, don't you know? And the answer is no.
Yeah, and the masseuse is right for thinking that. She's been doing the massages for years, though. So she's thinking it's common knowledge. It's not. It's not. Just like cookie classes are not common knowledge. You've seen the people who've come to your cookie classes for the first time, and they're like fish out of water. Like, what do I do with my purse? Like, they want the guidance. So you have to think people want the guidance. You can't talk to them enough. I'd rather give someone too much information than not enough information and lose the sale.
And the blog post can cover all that information without clogging up your homepage.
Yeah.
Your about page isn't going to be a place where Corey's going to tell you what a piping practice sheet is.
No.
Yeah, we're not going to go to our services page and see how to defrost a cookie.
Yeah, the contact us isn't contact me piping practice sheets.
So if you truly grasp what the podcast today was about, you should see so much more opportunity for content.
Yeah.
Content you've wanted to add, but you've made it a post on Facebook and you're like, it gets lost. And you're like, I can put that post I spent so much time on. I can judge up the character count, the word count, and I can post it. I can add some images. Images, delectable.
Nice.
Google actually looks at images as well.
Because it's a ranking factor.
It's a ranking factor. You can actually, some strategies of SEOs is to rank the picture.
Nice.
Because they know they'll get someone to click over, and that's another lead source as well. Moving on to stupid card tray, you use code SUGAR to check out 15% off Stackable.
Stack.
You sent me a photo. I need to post it of a stupid card tray and cookie practice.
It was being used.
It was being used.
Yeah.
Okay, we have only 4 texts this week. So a 25% chance to win for these people who dialed in.
I'm going with number 1.
Number 1 is a person who texted in yesterday.
Texted in yesterday.
This is Iron River, Michigan.
Iron
River. Send me an email at heather@sugarcookiemarketing.com. You have 7 days to claim your free stupid card tray.
I feel like Iron River's a peaceful place with a lake and obviously a river.
What if it's a river made of iron and it was like a bridge and they were like, oh no, it's stunning. It's a river made of like ironish rocks.
Oh, nice.
Oh, lots of snow you guys get there. Very high next to Caspian
Sea.
Back to the question at hand. Hello again. This may really be a stupid question. I've listened to the podcast 2 times through, and I'm working on my 3rd. Bless your ear.
Wow.
Would you ever consider going through a things you should consider or do when getting into cottage baking business episode? I know we focus on marketing and dealing with clients, which is super helpful. I'm in my 3rd year as a cottage baker, and sometimes I wish there'd been like a checklist of things to look into. I realize it may be different for everyone depending on your area. Like, for example, and ever so important, number 1, getting your cottage food registration, obtaining insurance, talking to an accountant, which is terrifying, but sometimes necessary. Amen. Maybe talking to a financial guy. Is that different from an accountant? Because that's still on my list. Making sure you figure out costs, get the socials going, etc. I hope this makes sense. Thank you for your continued nuggets and laughter. I hope this podcast never ends.
I want to say that is like talking to someone brand spanking new. We've so been in the world of marketing and baking so long that we talk to people who are already in the thick of it.
We're like SEO and CTA.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great
You're right.
topic is that we can get lost in the sauce
Lost in the sauce for someone who's like, I'm just starting out and they said CTA. What do those letters stand for?
Maybe we should do a series on like the fundamentals.
Oh, I like it.
The fun.
Fundamentals.
Kind of the Baker's Business Basics is the fundamentals. I created it because people would sign up for the college and say, this is too advanced and I want the foundational.
Right.
But I meant we could cover, there's only 13
like
of those.
that.
We covered 2.
I like
Great
it.
topic. And Iron River, Michigan, please send me an email and I'll get you that stupid card tray from Phil.
Congratulations. Thank you for such a great topic that we should definitely cover.
Also kind of tying it back into today's podcast about getting too technical.
Me and Iron River had that planned out.
Iron River's like, I got you
girls.
Podcast question. This is not a winner, but you can text in next week. Apparently your odds are very close. You had a 25% chance. Podcast question. I have an old WordPress blog. It's like we paid these people. That I've had for about 12 or 13 years. Is there an easy way to switch that old blog into my new cookie website? You're going to hate my answer. WordPress ranks really well. I'm guessing, so there's a WordPress.com and a WordPress.org. One is a website and one is a Blogger competitor. Well, Blogger went kind of the way of the dodo, and so did the WordPress. I think it's .com, the one that kind of did that. So you can still have your blogs on there. It's just not integrated with the website. So you can spend all this effort on these rank, but we're still not on our website where products are, where cart is. So they're saying, can I get this content over here? Now, I think what you're going to have to do, depending on your host, there may be an import feature.
Yeah.
I believe that like maybe a plugin.
That'd be
if you have a WordPress.com site or a WordPress.org site and you're migrating from WordPress.com, you could probably, there's something to do that. If not, hire a virtual assistant.
Yeah.
Or do it yourself.
Love that.
Yes. So Corey and I, like we mentioned, we have 2 years of newsletters. Only 1 month has been added to the website. So that's a ton of work.
Yeah.
Do I do it myself? Well, there's no manual import. So yes, I would have to go through and transpose that content. Like we just said in today's podcast, is it worth it? Absolutely. Depending on what the content is. So you've been doing this for 12 or 13 years. those posts probably rank really well. Here's what I would do.
Some of that content is outdated where businesses come and go.
Right. So maybe depending, if you have a baking, let's say it's a baking blog, right?
Yeah.
I may go back there and edit that content to link it to my current website and edit some of that to link back to my current website. It still can support. It's considered a backlink at this point because you have two separate entities.
Yeah.
But it can still support that. If that content's already ranking, you don't want to duplicate it, right? We don't want to have duplicated content because Google looks at two identical pieces of content. Says, well, one's got
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick one, and the other one I'm gonna call it a duplicate and delist it.
Yeah.
Can even. So you'd either have the choice if it's ranking really strongly already, and you think it could be a lead source, I would link it back to your current website and would not paste it over.
Yes.
If that blog content gets no traffic at all, but you really like the content, I would copy and paste it over. Then I would deactivate the WordPress blog.
Nice.
Once the content's posted.
Go on. Great questions.
Again, just so to realize, if she copied this blog and posted it over here, it would take a lot longer for this content to rise. That's why there's a strategy here.
Right.
They don't just pop up.
I wish they popped up like daisies, or what is the flower popping up now, it seems.
Oh,
The daffodils. If you would like a chance to win a stupid car tray, level out your passenger seat, create great customer service, and have your cookies arrive in one piece, you can text the podcast in at 571-556-5644.
The next one is a question about Google search.
That's a good one, too.
I'm just going to read it.
Okay.
Hi, twins. I actually already won a stupid card tray, so if you pick my number, go to the next one.
Oh, nice.
It's very nice of you. My question, apologies if it's long, is about Google business profiles.
Okay.
I set up a Google profile a couple years ago, got some reviews, and I was quickly ranking in the near me searches, meaning people saying baker's near me or a cookie or near me. Yay. And then I moved 40 miles away. I updated my profile and included my address, and then I was de-verified. I had to go through Google Hell to get re-verified. Now my profile is correctly set as a service area. That includes my current location and my previous city, meaning so she's still in a 40-mile radius. She was set up as an address, which is not allowed. Google, when she moved, flagged it. That happens all the time. She had to prove that she is actually a cottage baker, had to switch over to service area, and then they let the profile go up. I don't rank in near me search in my current area. Cookies 50 miles away rank above me, but I still rank in my previous location. I get clients from that area through Google search, but not my current location. My orders here come through only Facebook. What gives do you think? Do I need to pay someone to figure this out? Thanks for reading all the way to the end at my convoluted question. Your question is extremely typical.
Yeah.
It's actually not convoluted in the SEO world at all. Basically, what she said is she created a Google business profile, which follows SEO practices as well. She created the profile, she ranked, then she moved. She's like, why am I not ranking in the new place? Well, I don't know the distance between when she moved to the time distance, but it takes a lot of time. Frankly, her Google profile is associated with that old location because she's made so much content over there. What she's going to do is listen to today's blog post episode. She's going to start creating that hyper local content about her current location. And she's going to take that content from her website and she's going to post it to her Google business profile. And then she's going to keep doing that. And it's going to take some time. And you're going to keep linking to all this content so that your Google business profile gets a new association with location.
Yeah.
Right? You're still pretty close to your old location, and that's why you're getting that old traffic. So we need to start that new association with the new location.
Sometimes, and it's very hard. It's already hard to get reviews. But two, if someone offers to write you a review, sometimes I have a customer like, how can I help you? And this is where I take off my very cordial Corey hat and I put on my marketer hat. I need Google reviews, and I need you to say that somewhere in there, Lakeridge.
The person who writes the review, the text now is a ranking factor.
Yeah.
Meaning Google reads the review. Now when you pull up a business, it'll say the reviews often mentioned. And that's because the robots can now read reviews. In the past, that couldn't happen.
Yeah.
So now, not your responses.
No.
The review itself now has a keyword weight to it.
Yeah.
So let's say person who texted in who already won the supercar tray. Somebody who bought from you was like, how can I help you? You're like, hey, can you mention that you live in, actually, I can tell you where she lives. Kankakee. If you can say, hey, I was looking for a baker in Kankakee, Illinois, and I found baker name, that's going to better readily associate your profile with your search query.
Some of my husband's police officer friends order from me, and I have no qualms with asking for reviews from them. But I'll be like, hey, just wait. I'll write the review for you.
I'm sure she's violating 50 rules.
So I'll be like, it's so great to have a local sugar cookie baker in Lake Ridge, Virginia.
But what Corey's doing is better associating her Google business listing, which is very SEO centric. SEO, again, maps is searchable, so we got a search engine. Corey's associating Lake Ridge, which is an unincorporated city in Woodbridge, an incorporated area.
I technically do prefer Woodbridge.
Yeah, Corey had a battle on her website because she is Lake Ridge, which is a part of Woodbridge, which is a bigger city.
I know.
And Occoquan is a part of that too, but people only search
I know.
Occoquan.
It's so crazy. You would only know it if you're local.
Tell us about the Cookie College.
The Cookie College. The Cookie College is a monthly membership. And guys, I wouldn't sing its praises if I didn't know that it was tried and true and proven. Thousands of bakers have come and gone and have seen the benefits of the Cookie College.
Somebody wrote a post yesterday, Jennifer Lister. She had joined the college, the class kids.
Yeah.
And she was like, if you have any doubts at all about the margins, the class kits can bring you, listen to me, come to me, my children, my huddled masses, and sign up for the class kits because we do all that work for you.
When me and Heather were talking about our marketing business and how, we're not ideas people, because if we say that we're going to do something, we have to do it. We can't promise you the world and only give you half of it. So when I say that this will work for you, believe me, it's because it has worked for somebody else.
What I can't have in my life is sell a product and people are like, that didn't work, and I still sell the product.
Yeah, I know. I couldn't
I have to make sure you guys are doing okay.
If you are trying to up your business, get more sales, get more leads online, the Cookie College isn't how to bake cookies. It's not how to do the latest, coolest floral trend. It's not watercolor. What it is how to run your bakery more efficiently, how to get more sales, how to overcome customer objections, how to streamline the processes so you make more money and more dough in your bakery, both figuratively and financially.
Oh, make that dough. I'm making that dough.
Right.
One thing this year I focused on the classes is passive income. I'm teaching a class this month on Amazon storefront, which you can send to your cookie class attendees. And
Fantastic way.
Right. The Amazon storefront and Amazon associates are a little interchange with people, but they're different things.
Yeah.
But we talked about making cookie cutters at home with a Bamboo A1 Mini 3D printer, and that is going to reduce cost.
Yeah.
I think we're in like a pinch of the economy. We got inflation. We've got the Fed interest rate. So we see a compression in our lead source because what are people going to cut out? They're going to cut out their splurges, their luxury expenses, which is cookies. So how can we as cookiers during a pinch time lower our production costs so we can still maintain that bottom line? Because we can take fewer orders. If we lower our costs, we'll still have the same profit at the end of the year. So that's the focus this year is passive income and cost reduction.
Right. So if that's your focus and you listen to these podcasts and you're like, you know what, that aligns with my goals for 2025, we'd love to jump on the dough train with you and help make your bakery more efficient. You can sign up at thecookiecollege.com. We just dropped the Mother's Day cookie class kits. And the great thing about the college is it gets everything. Anything we've ever offered, the college gets it. So if you see the other memberships and you're like, well, that one sounds good. If you sign up for the college, you get it. So you can ignore those because you already have it once you sign up for the college. I am working on the next cookie class kits is Cinco de Mayo.
And I love me a chip and salsa.
Cinco de Mayo. And there is a chip in there. There is a chip in there.
Doesn't he got some queso on him or not?
I think he does have some queso on him.
He had some queso.
Queso.
Oh, yum. So if you want to learn more about the Cookie College, you can go to thecookiecollege.com, or you can always ask about it in the Facebook groups. Just tag a twin and they will respond.
If you saw Jennifer's post and you're like, you know what, I think I'm just trying to get my foot wet in cookie classes. You totally can. We have a membership just for classes. It's everything you need to teach a cookie class, not necessarily streamlining your business and creating websites and things like that.
Not how we taught a cookie class, what you need to teach a cookie class.
So it's the themes, it's the colors, it's the designs, it's the step-by-step PowerPoint, it's the little videos, everything you need to teach a cookie class. All you got to show up is make the dough.
Purchase cutters from Sweet Pink Olive.
Right.
And stand in front of
Yeah,
people.
and that is called the Cookie Class Kits. It's $63 a month.
I finally remembered that. How much is a cookie college?
It's $76 a
Good
month.
job. Just think of 1776.
1763.
Declaration of Independence, which we're actually doing in the class kits after Cinco de Mayo is Father's Day, and then after that it's Independence Day.
It is an Independence Day.
Because people had asked for a 4th of July class. We find that month to be the hardest to sell.
It is, but you can use it for a DIY kit. And I love using the class kits for DIY kits. That is my favorite
What a
thing.
moneymaker. What a passive moneymaker. If you don't like standing in front of people, just do everything. Just don't teach a class.
I
Just sell
know.
it as
I
Corey
know.
does it all the time.
All the time.
She'll be like, can you send me the playlist? Like,
And if you're like, I'm bad at pre-sales, DIY kits are the stepping stone into strong pre-sales because people like DIY kits. It's so much less involved than
imagine a blog post on DIY kits.
Oh my god!
What they are, how to freeze them when you take them home if you're buying them for the kids,
How long
to
they
defrost them, how to
last.
incorporate the icing.
Yes.
So much content possibilities.
Next up, without our sponsors, this would not exist.
Actually, I have a new sponsor. I haven't actually sent her the invoice yet, but Corey and I will be speaking
At
what's it called?
Wait, Cake Pop Con?
Is it called Cake Pop? That's adorable. I think it is.
Daisy Makes. If you know her by the name Daisy Makes, her name's Amy, but Daisy Makes is just bombarded the world of cake pops with these cake pops cutters and discs.
It's Amy, and her tagline, her signature is always popping.
She's always popping. She is the guru of cake pops. Let me just say, she has just
what's poppingcon.com.
What's popping?
It's very cute. If you want to check that out, it's whatpoppingcon.com. Don't sign up just yet. She said she might give us a discount code to pass along.
But it is May
4th through 6th.
Mm-hmm. May the 4th be with you. Because when I told my husband we were going, he said, well, there goes our wedding anniversary. I said, you didn't have anything planned anyway, sir.
He's lucky. She's playing something.
You're lucky
and
I'm leaving.
In Ohio, in Kent, Ohio.
Yes. So we would love to see you there. I know I'm just a babby in the world of cake pops, but I would love to meet you and you to bestow any knowledge upon me.
You can give Corey cake pop knowledge. We'll be teaching marketing there, which is universal. I always say change the noun, and you can sell cars or cake pop.
You can.
What a cute little website.
You can't bite a car, but you can bite a cake pop. You could try.
Pops by Rachel is a keynote. This is a very, very cute website.
She's very, very sweet too. Just as sweet as cake pops. They love a good cake pop fun. Is what I do know.
Cake pops just lend themselves.
Absolutely.
To a little party.
Stay tuned. We'll bring more details. This is their first year, but hopefully, definitely not their last.
Yeah, and Corey and I will be there.
Be there, be square. Unlike a K-pop, which is round.
So I'll have more information on that. Don't buy the tickets yet because she mentioned a discount code.
And so we'll get some deets on that. Next up is the Backers Code. The Backers Code is a done-for-you, honestly, a photography studio that transforms your house into something that it's not.
Well, we talked about it in the blog post, right? When writing a blog post, you have to have imagery. The more images, the better.
Yeah.
The better the images, the better the content. And it's, again, part of that well-oiled machine.
Absolutely.
So if you can have the best website in the world and the ugliest photography, and I'm going to be like,
You're still not going to make this.
I need you to stop writing blog posts.
Right. You're almost shooting yourself in the foot because you can bring as many people to your website. But if your photography doesn't convert, if it doesn't look appetizing, if it doesn't look appealing, people aren't going to buy. So these photography backdrops from the Backers Co. are the bee's knees. And she has them just in about every color under the rainbow that you could possibly think of.
She's constantly adding.
And she's constantly adding. I have used the green ones and the other ones because St. Patrick's Day was yesterday. So I
had some fun content.
Brought those ones out. They're quite cute. But she has ones if like my branding is orange and she has this nice sherbet orange color.
Corey really wanted her website to be cohesive with branding, and so she busted out the oranges and them yellers.
You can actually save 20% right now using the code SUGARCOOKIE on her website, but you can actually go to her Instagram and see how people are using them, so you can kind of get ideas, and you can see like the different marbles and wood grains in action. So they work really good when you buy two of them because you can do that L-shaped one. So if you want to see what two look like together, that's a great way to do it.
Very nice. Corey is a huge fan.
Big fan.
Never, not last either, not least, ever. It's Bakety Bake meringue powder. What is that? It's everything.
It's technically called Royal Batch Boy Baked Bake.
You can use code TWINS. Don't listen to the words I'm saying. Yeah. But it has corn syrup. It has vanilla. It has white food colors and vanilla extract.
It does. It has all three in there. I actually made a batch this morning. I make a batch each week, but made it this morning. And it's like, you are just so delicious.
Somebody had asked. They said I have icing bleed with it. What's the secret? I tagged you in it. Did you get back to him?
I did not, because someone had put Courtney Post is the owner, and she'll sometimes fly in like a superhero and help people if they need it. Here's the thing. The main cause, and what I have learned, and I have suffered from color bleed. Heather knows. She was in the mix
This is
me.
Corey for this stint of color bleed era. She would come to me and she'd be like, "Do you like the cookies?" I was like, "Oh, the cookies are so cute." And she's like, "Yeah, can't wait for them to bleed all over."
Yeah, a couple years ago, it was really the bane of my existence. It was so frustrating. I got stressed out with every order because I am heavy-handed with the colors. I've never seen a pastel I haven't
You said
oversaturated.
No, thank you.
The thing you have to realize with color bleed is your meringue is not stabilized yet. When it is not stabilized, there's no structure behind it, and that's what causes the bleed. You really do need to whip it and whip it real good. Stiff peaks is probably the most important part to get that stabilized.
Because it holds the color in.
I'm not sure the science that's happening, but the science is happening in that stage.
I'd like to think the meringue is like, come to me, you're not leaving.
Yeah, it's like really like, but like, you know how gluten builds in sourdough? It's the meringue building in the icing. That's probably technically not right.
Builds in sourdough, but I believe
But
it.
when you can whip correctly to the stiff peaks and then water down to your flood consistency, it is so much more
so you're
forgiving.
getting him stiff and then you're watering
Yeah,
it? And
yeah.
that was your secret.
Yeah.
I thought you took a scoop out.
That it's definitely like meringue powder. A lot of people will experience color bleed no matter what brand, and it's really the structure of the meringue hasn't been stabilized.
Oh, so your first solution is stiff peaks, then add the water back
so
in.
I did my same recipe with a different meringue powder last week. No color bleed. So it really is the stabilizing factor.
We all need stabilizing.
We need some
we
stability.
Don't bleed out.
You know, we're the Eiffel Tower of your icing.
Corey and the IFE and the word actually today. There's a lot of
Actually, yeah.
What?
Last but not least is Eddie, the edible food printer. Eddie, you're like, what is that word? It is a direct-to-food printer.
Let me tell you, Corey got a Neiman Marcus order yet again. He hasn't paid his bill. Because he pays net 60.
But Eddie is a direct-to-food printer, and a lot of times you think icing sheets. No, throw out the icing sheets. We're printing directly on the top of that stabilized royal icing.
That stabilized bake.
That royal icing, you can put it directly. It looks like a printer. I can't explain it. It is a printer.
I think Eddie really hits a stride come Easter, where you do your peeps and your eggs with the
absolutely. He's got the
floral
the Queen's color. I did get a corporate order. It was severely last minute, and the only reason I said yes was because Eddie was in my room waiting to be used.
Yeah, if you want to learn more about Eddie, go to eddieprinterusersgroup.com. I actually think CookieCon is next week, and they will have a booth there if you want to see that in real time.
Yeah, it's honestly,
it's not what you're not gonna. If you haven't seen it, you're not gonna be prepared.
And I want to tell you, even when I turn them on now, I'm not ready. I'm like, look at me.
You're not ready for Eddie?
Eddie, ready for Eddie. He's fantastic. The way that people use him is mind blowing.
Yeah, people are so creative.
Yeah, people are so creative,
people
and Eddie has just helped them. Yeah. With what Daisy makes, she makes these flat cake pops, which is like the shape of a cake puck.
Oh, but it's cake pop with a puck.
It's
shape.
cake, yeah.
Smart,
but you can't fit a circle under Eddie, but you can fit this flat cake pop, and you can print right on Eddie with your little cake pop.
There's a lot of opportunity.
So neat. But those are our sponsors. If you want to support this podcast, support them.
Right. Thank you so much. And most of them, except for Eddie,
Thank you.
Thank you. We have some mail.
We got some
Heather
mail.
Campbell Berkshire hosted the CookieCon Happy Hour this past year. And she had everyone fill out these postcards, and she keeps finding them. So read us a few of these bad boys.
Read us a few. Thanks for the booze. That's all it says.
We did pay for the drinks.
We have had a blast, but it still would have been better with a couple of miracles here. Much love from Texas, Donna Shira. Peace, love, and sugar cookies. Oh, I love her. Thank you for the lovely evening. Heather and Kim did an awesome job. Hope to meet you soon. Sylvia.
Very fun. Kim owns Beans and Brews down in Houston, Texas. Austin?
You really shouldn't touch people's faces. I already know. She barely even signed it.
This is Bobby. When Corey and I went to our first CookieCon, we were the keynote speakers. I didn't know what we were doing. Yeah. And everyone was like, stand and take a photo together. So there's this lady there, and I just grabbed her face. And she was like, what was that? And I said,
Bobby's from Bobby's.
We got married.
And we've never gotten over that. We will live that one forever and for always. Thank you. I've gotten so much out of the short time I've been involved. Love it. Miss you. Wish you were here, but only my favorite twin. She left that one blank.
I guess I'll show up next time.
There's a cookie con. Yes, we're totally missing y'all. Thank you so much for all that you do for us. We all really appreciate the knowledge you're sharing with us. So sweet. Hi, twins. Great mixer. Love all the podcasts. And a little flower from Stacy. Little hand-drawn flower. Hi, twins. We love you guys. Sandy, love you from Giving Some Sugar. Last, missing you here at Cookie Con. I've been a big fan for a while. Heather is my favorite twin. Love Karen. But Corey will always be first in my heart. She is my love.
Thanks, guys, for sending those. We won't be at Cookie Con next week, but anyone who's going, post up some pictures.
Yeah, please post some pictures. I would love to. I know.
Corey is an anti-flyer.
Look, I'm going to Cake Pop Con.
We're driving. You only said yes because it was rival.
To the Pop Con. I need to learn the name. It's not Cake Pop Con.
Oh, yeah. What's popping?
What's popping?
It's
What's
popping?
Look, see? It's drivable. Unfortunately, Reno is not drivable.
Reno is not drivable.
Corey. No, girl. She gets in the road.
Right.
You have a Twinterest.
Yeah, here's my wildest. Buying paper printer, not even a knittable, just buying printers
is
to
annoying.
Print paper.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I did the HP thing. Never again. HP also has this feature where you have a subscription and they can break your printer. Never again. Never again, right? So then I'm like, well, let me research Reddit.
Yes.
People said this Brothers printer.
I heard great brand.
And it's not bad at all. I don't know that I would tell you to buy it. I wouldn't tell you not to buy it. I would tell you not to buy the HP printer.
Okay.
And I
Me,
would say,
who has an HP going.
Right. And you're also making me print stuff, so I don't know why. I wanted something that scan and copied.
Okay.
I needed a
scan
three.
is, a little 3-in-1.
Yeah, I need the scan one. I think I always lose something when you add the scan feature because it's like trying to
do a lot.
Jack of all trades, master. So I'm like, okay, then you buy the printer. And that's the cheap part. What the cheap part isn't is the ink.
I know.
So I'm like, I ran out of ink.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm going to go buy this ink. And these Brothers printers work a little differently. They have 4 cartridges. So,
Can you even buy that at like Walmart or Target, a Brothers?
Not even.
Thing?
I didn't even talk about it. But every time I turn, the printer will be like, hey, you need ink. Like it sends a thing. So it's like, it pitched me the other day. And I was like, hey, we have an ink plan.
Yes.
It was like, you don't print a lot. I don't. I print the check-in sheets for the cookie class kits and then maybe some like finance paperwork for the guy.
Yeah.
Finance guy. So it was like for $1.99 a month, we'll put you on a plan. You can print 25 sheets a month, and if you don't print your 10 sheets a month will roll over to the next
Only
month.
10 sheets, even if you only printed 9?
Well, it was kind of like you got to print something. Yeah,
Does it know you? I don't think you printed it.
No, I'm like, I can't print it. That's not valuable. So I was like, okay, $1.99 a month, so $24 for the year. That's still so much cheaper than the HP cartridge was buying for like $50.
Yeah, it was. I just bought one.
They're ridiculously expensive. So I'm like $24. I'm not printing a ton of stuff. I actually have an allergy to paper mentally.
Yeah,
I hate paper on my desk.
You've never
my grandma has
made
killed
a cookie
1,000.
tag.
Yeah, this isn't for cookie tag people. This is for the admin office,
Yes.
right? So I buy it. And I'm like, how is it going to know what I printed?
How would it know?
The cartridges are smart.
They're tattling?
So it said install. We'll send you these cartridges.
Oh, they're smart cartridges?
Will tell on me. But I'm like, that's great because I'm not printing off. And then there was.
What if you need to print over 25? What if you have a 26th?
And you hadn't had a rollover yet?
Yeah.
You get, it's $1 for every 10 pages after that. Just upgrade your plan. So
there was a run out of ink?
Yeah. So, but it's smart. It's tattling on itself. It'll always refill itself. So they'll send a new cartridge out. Wow. I never talk to them anymore.
This is genius.
Yeah. So if the ink runs out, I don't buy new ink. The new cartridge will just appear.
HP has this, but it's not a paper thing. It's just like, we'll refill you. But I don't trust you. I don't trust
know. So
ya.
I've got them installed. As soon as I put them in, the Brothers website was like, hey, we see that you registered these by putting them in. You started your plan. There was the $2 plan was the cheapest one. The next one was $5 a month, which is still cheaper than an HP cartridge. And it was $5 80 sheets a month.
How much is 5 times 12? 60?
Yeah. Yeah, $60.
So that's like one cartridge, which I can't.
So you can print 80 sheets. And it had
colorful sheets.
And it had a 25 paper rollover from month to month. So if I don't print all
that one might be a beast.
I know. But I'm like not even printing anything. So I'm like.
The problem with these cookie tags is they're colorful. They're colorful things.
Well, I'm like, if it's, and I'm just dry running this thing. Yeah. If it doesn't care how much, because it gave me all 4 cartridges, black, white, red, blue.
Could you do a full just.
Yeah, it did not care about what the printer color was.
That's wild.
Print subscription. It was, I don't know. I mean, and it's called the Easy Print subscription. Easy.
Sure,
Run out of ink and toner, not anymore. Subscribe and save it because it discounts it. So I'm on a 2-month free trial. Always free delivery and 0 commitment. You can cancel your plan at any time. So you can choose a right plan delivered to your door. And then they said because you committed. So, oh yeah, I'm on a cheaper plan. It was without my discount. It was $3.49 a month for 100 pages. Oh, they have a bunch of different plans. Then they have business plans. I mean, it's still cheaper than buying these cartridges.
Then I gotta ask: is somebody lying somewhere?
I'll let you know.
Somebody's going to be.
Someone comes to my door to beat me up because I didn't pay my printing subscription.
We're gonna refill your car. You haven't paid for your.
You haven't paid for your cartridges. What is your Twinterest?
Do I have a Twinterest? Has anything happened to me? I did see a bulldog at the car pickup line yesterday, and I got out of the car. But when I got out of the car, the little kid took it away, so I looked like an idiot trying to go pet him.
One time I walked up to like a guy was a moving truck, and I wanted to see his dog, and he put it away, and I was like,
yeah. And then you're like, looking at an idiot.
Can I see y'all?
So I just pretend like I was looking for art. Oh, it's not out yet. Let me go back.
Okay, I'll tell you the app in lieu of Corey's Twinterest. I got the cat Munch, right?
Yeah.
He's very kitten.
Munchkins.
He's very tiny.
Yeah.
Boisterous.
Very.
And everyone's like, can you bring him over? So I take him to my mom's house on Saturday. He loves other cats.
I want to say that witnessing you and father was chaotic to me.
My dad has this big bully cat. His name is Lou.
Yeah.
And dad loves Lou. So I'm like, hey, Lou's a bully, so we need to put him in a room because he's a bully.
But at the end of the day, it was their house.
It's their house, but they asked me to bring over a kitten. So
know.
Dad's like, but I don't feel like that's fair to Lou.
I know.
So Lou comes down with all the anger in the world and attacks the kitten.
Me listening to this, to Heather as a parent, a cat parent.
I'm like, hey, could somebody get the bully?
Yeah. She's like, grabs her cat, gets mad at...
No, I actually grabbed Lou and took him upstairs to a giant room where his body is and he lives in luxury.
I know.
And then I let Munch meander, right? Of course, Dad can't let Lou suffer. Although Lou was sitting with Dad while he was reorganizing his closet. Dad takes Lou down to the basement. Well, guess what's in the basement? All the cat potties. They have 3 cats, so they have 2 or 3 potties. Well, guess who can't use a potty now? Munch.
Couldn't you have guided Munch down there and sat with him as he puppied?
He didn't use the restroom the last time, so I didn't think he needed this time. My mistake. I'm driving home. The cat does not like to be in a car. He's meowing his head off.
Yeah.
But he gets real quiet. And I'm like, no way. No way he's finally made peace with cars.
Yeah.
And I hear this sound of like scraping on the bottom of his cage. And I said, what is that smell?
Oh, yeah. Was it liquidy poo-poo?
No, it was just fresh.
Was it pee and poo?
Uh-huh.
Both?
Uh-huh.
You saw the pee? The
I had to wash
very
everything.
hard to get out of that
it was
stuff.
very in his cage.
Yeah.
But I had to wash everything immediately.
For sure.
So I had pulled over. It's so funny. The road is called Pope's Head Road. I'm renamed it Poop's Head Road because that's what I had to clean up. And I kept a spare baggie. I don't know why, but now I did. Having to pick up cat poop like a dog poop was wild.
Oh, yeah. Listen, it's been, my dog's what, 9 years
so, Corey's like, how do you like having a kitten?
I know, and then I'm grateful that Rube is 14.
Rube is 14. Yeah, I don't know where Munch is. We gotta go find him after this.
Mr. Munch. Are you going to bring him to Mothers and Fathers again?
Only if Lou's on police
They're not going to.
duty.
You're going to have to realize that they look at their cats as kittens. Like
I
you
sent
a
Snapchat to the sisters and I said he's on a travel ban. And Summer said, could you please lift the ban?
Yeah, but she doesn't want to babysit the Lou.
But I feel like if Summer was there, she might have policed Lou a bit more than Dad does.
I don't know. He seems like he runs the risk because he pays the bills.
Or I bring a potty. This is ridiculous.
A little potty?
That's
is
what
there
I did.
A mini potty? That would be crazy to bring a potty.
The one that we got him when we picked him up.
Oh, the little to go.
Transport potty.
The transport potty. I don't know.
That was
I
some
was
Botox for
wanting
me.
a kitten recently, but Munch might have cured me just a little bit. I do love me an old cat nap.
Munch meows to the universe to just see what
meowing.
mobilizes.
And Heather, what he knows is you mobilize. He literally just meowed, and Heather's like, turn around and look at him. Like, you're literally answering every mew with an action. So he knows. He just knows you're going to do something.
Toys appear with every meow.
And you've gotten so many toys for him as of late.
He's a kitten. He needs stimulation.
You're the stimulation. Okay, guys, thank you so much for tuning into the podcast. You can catch us on the flip side in the group. Till next Tuesday. Bye.